So, hey everybody, it is Friday the 30th of April 2021. It's episode number 18 of Jonnychipz Weekly. Let's jump on in. So, hi again, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in yet again on a Friday lunchtime in the UK. So, this is going out at 12:30 British Standard Time. Never know if that's right or not. Standard Time, summertime. But regardless, thanks so much for joining me on this Friday afternoon. Hope you've had a great week wherever you are in the world watching this. It's still been a busy week again for me. This week, it's been interesting to kind of get involved in lots of interesting things at work. But we're going to keep to the same theme. I'm going to mix it up slightly. We're going to jump straight on into the community call out as the first section. So let's just head on over to my desktop. Okay, so first community call out I wanted to put out there today was the Cloud Lunch and Learn Marathon. So Cloud Lunch and Learn have got a marathon of speakers, 24 hours of speakers going out across the 13th and 14th of May. They've got quite a healthy registration base at the moment, but obviously the site is still open at the moment to go and register. So if you're not already registered to that, it's going to be an action-packed set of content, to be honest, like I say, covering that 24-hour period. So if you jump on over to cloudlunchandlearn.com and go to the marathon tab, you can see the kind of content that you've got going across the stack there. And so really get involved. Go over there, head on over to cloudlunchandlearn.com, sign up if you haven't done that already. Next call out is Dwayne Natwick's Azure Back to School call for content. So Dwayne put this out a couple of weeks back now, but I did notice this last year. I didn't take part in it, but I'm very tempted to take part in it this year. I've got some ideas and some people across the community to work with on an idea. So really keen to put something to this, so I think I'll be adding my name to that list at some point fairly soon with a bit of luck. But yeah, if you're interested in getting involved and getting some content across that, Dwayne is looking for that call for content at the moment. So if you head over to azureBackToSchool.tech, you'll be taken to this website, and you've got a link there to the session eyes for that back to school event. So get involved. I mean, it's such a great event, and Dwayne is such a great guy doing some immense training across the community and content creation. So give Dwayne some support with his event and get involved. Next one is Jean de Dobelia. Apologies if I've mispronounced that, Jan, but I noticed this last night from Richard Hooper. So Jan has basically developed Oh My Posh. If you don't know what Oh My Posh is, it's effectively a way that you can create these funky looking prompt lines, colourful. These blocks kind of present sort of username, host name. In my instance, I've got Azure subscription I'm working on, a little bit of health check on was my previous command, healthy, and then a path to, you can kind of fill these blocks in whatever you like, the OS that I'm on, a little fire trail. But the point is, Jan has created this, I want to say it's a PowerShell module, but you can actually use it across Bash as well. But a plugin, essentially, that I believe is, I'm not going to even attempt to say what it's written in, but it's a fantastic little utility. So I noticed this morning that Richard had, I didn't realize that you can actually donate to great content through GitHub. So I noticed Richard Hooper had done that last night, and I've jumped on and joined the bandwagon, because I think it's, it's great to kind of put back a little bit, even if it's that, buying somebody a cup of coffee when they produce some great content. So in this instance, if you don't know what Oh My Posh is, head over to Jan's GitHub, or go to, I believe it's ohmyposh.dev. Let me check that actually. Let me just see. I might have it. ohmyposh.dev it is. Yeah. So head over to ohmyposh.dev and have a little look through the get starting guide, because you can literally create these command line, just make it look a little bit more presentable, a bit more informative. It's a great concept. So wanted to call out that great bit of work there from Jan. Next one, it is KubeCon next week. So from the May the 4th to the 7th, it's all around sort of cloud native, Kubernetes, all the cloud native technologies. They've got this virtual event going across a few days next week. So I've signed up for it now. I've had a quick look through the session catalog. I know there's such a great mix and diversity of speakers there covering lots of cloud native features, technology, functions, all of that great stuff. So if you're not signed up for that and you've got time next week, get signed up to it. So this is on the linuxfoundation.org website, but if you just Google KubeCon, you can head over to this page where you can register. So highly recommend that if you haven't already done that. Azure Thames Valley. So they have just announced their next meetup, which caught my eye only the other day, actually. So 18th of May, 6:30, they've got a talk on blockchain in Azure, which is going to be really interesting. I think, definitely caught my eye from Juarez Jr. Again, apologies if I mispronounced the name, but that looks really interesting and something I'm going to do my best to join and have a watch of that. So stick that date in the diaries, especially if that is something of interest to you. Great to see. My good friends Dean and Andy and Simon and the Cloud Management User Group have announced their next event on the 11th of May, so bookmark that date. They've got Segura OSD with a demo of OSD Cloud, and then we've got Shabazz Dar. So Shabazz is going to go on and give the guys an overview, and obviously the group an overview of WVD, which is brilliant. I've seen Shabazz's talk on WVD, and it's always engaging. So if you've got the time, bookmark that date, 11th of May, head on over and give the group a bit of support. That would be superb. .NET Knots, again, good friends, Pete. Excuse me, still got a tickly cough. I've come down with a bit of a cold over the last few days, so I'll get the violins out in a second. Yeah, like I say, good friend Pete, who kind of co-organises .NET Knots. They got the Lightning Talk sessions happening on the 24th of May, so I know that's a few weeks away yet, and I'll probably give that another shout out close to the time. But there's just something about the .NET sort of arena, I guess, in terms of what's taken my fancy and really sort of inspired me and kind of perked my interest in the development side of technology. So, I'd encourage anybody, if you've got the time, head on over, give it a watch, join in. It's great fun. Okay, so Techie Lass Sarah Lean has released this blog yesterday, and it was a great little blog, to be honest. It was really just giving a great overview of the tools and techniques and features that you've got in Azure to help scaling any kind of application or workload that you might have in Azure. So Sarah's done a really neat job here of kind of giving a concise overview of what each of the component parts are and how you can use them, and the kind of things that you can do them, from the Azure Load Balancer, the application gateway, traffic manager, and front door. So as well as others, and how you apply sort of DDoS protection and a web application firewall, and what that actually means and what it stops. So there's, like I say, it's a really concise, neat little article there in terms of if you're unfamiliar which service does what. I mean, head on over. So it's on the IT Ops Talk blog. If you head on over to that and just do a quick search for scaling with Azure, you'll find Sarah's article. Just wanted to call that out because I thought, sometimes these concepts are quite tricky to explain, and where the overlap is or which service you might want to use when. And I just think Sarah's done a nice, neat job there in bringing those together to kind of help people understand maybe a little bit more where each one fits. Okay, again, my good friend Mert. I tried to join his session. He had a session with May last night on the Azure Live Twitch.tv, where I've seen May across the community now. She deals with Power Platform, and it just looks like just such fun content May is putting together. So I was really intrigued to see this. I haven't watched it back yet. I was actually sat in IKEA car park, and I did manage to catch the first 2 minutes before my O2 signal gave up the ghost on me. I'm having trouble with that at the moment, So if you know anybody from O2, give them a nudge for me. So yeah, I mean, like I say, Mert had his session last night with May where they were talking Power Apps and Power BI. So if you've not seen that, head over to the twitch.tv/Azurish Live channel. Give that a watch and drop Mert some feedback and obviously May and let them know that you're watching, because it's always great content. And like I say, May, I've noticed May, been interacting with May on and off over the last couple of months, and she's done some absolutely incredible things. If you're not following a YouTube channel, there it is. Go and sign up, give her a subscribe, because I know she was heading for the 200 mark this week, so I think she's managed to cap that. But the thing that caught my eye is just the creativity that May's got with doing some of these fab games. I mean, it's just great to see, there's lots of members of the community in there. She created a Guess Who game. I know she's got some wildly creative things going on at the moment. And of course, from a technical point of view, looking at the Power Suite, Power Apps and things like that, just some of the content I've seen from May so far is top notch. It's really great. So if you can, jump on over, give May a follow on Twitter, go and subscribe to a YouTube channel and say hello, let her know you're there, because give back, give a little bit of feedback. Okay, next one. Massive to see this. Anais has started off the 100 Days of Kubernetes .io Git repo, contribution repo, static web content site. Bottom line is, jump on it, head over to Anais Twitter, watch this little video. She gives a quick introduction as to what the 100 Days of Kubernetes, as a person that's gone through 100 Days of Cloud. I know what it's all about, and it's just fantastic to see. I think Anais is around day 37, 38 at the moment on her journey, but she's made all the notes public. And I think the general theme of it is that if you want to contribute or follow in Anais' tracks, I think she's teamed up with Reshab to get this site developed and up and running. And I'm sure. I mean, I'm hoping at some point when I get the time to focus on Kubernetes, I may well. I don't want to commit to 100 days because it is a commitment, and I know you can do it over a long period of time. Who knows? I may just go all in. I may go all in. Let's see. But this is certainly going to be the area I'm going to be going to when I finally. I know I've been saying for so long I'm going to turn to Kubernetes. I know, but it's like everything. There's a big long to-do list, and you've got to pace yourself. And I think I'm pacing myself okay at the moment. But yeah, like I say, just wanted to give a shout out to Anais and Reshab for getting this set up. You've given me an idea as well. So, excuse me, but more on that when maybe in a few weeks' time. Let's see how we get on. But yeah, congratulations to Anais and Reshab for getting that set up. Get involved, community. Go and give them a follow, like, subscribe. Let them know that you're there, and join in. If you want to take on that challenge, go for it. I think you'll have a huge support community behind you. So go and do it. And there it is. So I've just called up the 100 Days of Kubernetes. So the website URL is 100daysofkubernetes.io, and you'll be taken to this page where you can, take a look at the introduction that Anais and Reshab have got there for you. So give that a look. Wanted to call out this on CloudSkills.io. So Michael Livan has mentioned, sticking with the Kubernetes theme, that they've got a boot camp coming up. So they've got an 8-week boot camp coming up. And to be honest, I've not checked the prices lately for CloudSkills, but I know they're certainly attractive prices for the kind of content and training that the guys and gals over there give. So wanted to call that out. It caught my eye because, like I say, Kubernetes is absolutely on my action list to delve deeper into. I've done bits, but something like this would be absolutely spot on. So I wanted to call that out and let everybody know, if you haven't already seen it, go and take a look at that. CloudSkills.io. Azure Thursday. So just they've got their next meetup announced, May the 6th. Caught my eye purely because Sarah Masson and Sander were on the bill from an IoT and that conservation IoT kind of project perspective. I managed to catch part of Sarah's talk on, I think it was IoT Knots a few weeks back. So yeah, just wanted to kind of give that a shout out. If that's of interest to you, go and give them a like. Go and join in on the session on the 6th of May. Just wanted to give Paul DiCarlo another shout out, basically because this is Paul's kind of home lab for the Jets and Nanos that he had set up to run some of the NVIDIA deep learning courses that, I was fortunate enough to be one of the people that attended one of the first courses that Paul ran, and it was brilliantly put together, and I know Paul is very keen to kind of make more people aware of this, and especially the deep learning modules that you can get access to via NVIDIA. And having gone through that process, and certainly from an edge computing and physical edge computing, I've got one on my desktop here. It's a fantastic course looking at, the particular course I went on was looking at the DeepStream SDK, which was about video analytics at the edge. And using something like an NVIDIA Jetson Nano to do that, parallel processing using GPUs. Just wanted to call that out. You can read a bit more about the lessons that Paul has learned from teaching this session remotely, using this lab environment for people to be able to dial into and use and configure the things they need to do to go through this course. So huge congratulations to Paul, and thanks for the awesome content. I've certainly not given up on NVIDIA. There's so much to do there, so I'm again, it's on the to-do list. It's there. I'm going to head on over to there at some point soon and start looking through some of those other modules. But wanted to give that a shout out. And finally, Azure Trivia just caught my eye. I've not actually replied to the first one, but starting last week, a few days ago, Monday actually, they got Azure Trivia. So head on over to the @Azure Twitter feed, and every Monday they're going to post out an Azure related question. So there's prizes, a bit of fun competition, but they do have some prizes. So every week they got 10 people that are going to be chosen at random. So that's over. I think they've got it going over a month period. So there we go. Just how do I enter? Follow these steps. Go over to the Azure Twitter, find the hashtag Azure Trivia question. It'll usually be their pinned tweet. Click on the correct answer and then tweet the auto-generated confirmation message from your own account. So fairly simple. In fact, I'll probably head on over there after this and do it myself. Okay. Okay, so my camera seems to have disappeared. We'll fix that. Don't know what happened there. Okay, so that was a community call out. So thanks for everybody for their awesome content over the last week. What I'm going to do now, we're going to jump into the Azure updates and news. So whilst I just pin that up, let's just head over to the to my desktop again, if I can get the right page up on my screen. There we go. Okay, so this week we've had around about 20 Azure updates. So I'll quickly scan through these, but again, as always, if you want to keep up to date, again this week I haven't had a chance until today to jump on and have a quick scan and an overview. So let's just jump straight on and see what we got. We got about 20. So there we go. My request is timed out. Fair enough. Not anymore. So Azure Sphere version 21.04 has now gone generally available. So updated Azure Sphere OS, updated SDK for Windows and Linux, and the extensions for Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. And they've dropped some new and updated samples in there, which is cool to see. I don't know why my browser needs refreshing, but it does. Microsoft Azure Web Pub Sub service now in public preview. So that is in public preview as of yesterday. I hope this isn't going to be for every page. It probably will be. Let's jump on over to this one. So general availability, Azure Site Recovery now supports cross-continental disaster recovery for 3 region pairs. Well, that's pretty cool to see. So the functionality is currently available in the 3 cross-continental regional pairs of Southeast Asia and Australia East, Southeast Asia and Australia Southeast, and West Europe and South Central US. So pretty cool just to see those advances in site recovery. And again, set up Azure Site Recovery with proximity placement groups across hybrid and cloud disaster recovery scenarios. So basically, that's gone GA. Azure Site Recovery now supports these PPGs, so proximity placement groups, across hybrid as well as cloud disaster recovery scenarios. So what they're saying is that with this release, a physical or virtual machine on-prem or an Azure VM can be replicated inside a PPG in the target Azure region of your choice, which is cool. Okay, so public preview application sites in South India and West Central US. Another refresh my page. So public preview is Azure Log Analytics in South India. That's gone into public preview. Now available, we have Azure Ultra Disk is now generally available in North Central US. Another public preview, we got Forced Failover, now available with Zone Redundant High Availability for Azure Databases for MySQL. Okay, there's a lot of words again there. I'll have to read that one back through, but another service that's gone into preview. Generally available is Application Insights work item integration with Azure Monitor. So it's crucial to capture the context of a failure or performance issue occurring in your application to remediate the problem. So work item integration functionality allows you to easily create work items in GitHub or Azure DevOps based on bugs or issues that you've identified in Application Insights. And then you can include Application Insights data into the work item to pass on the proper context. Okay, so that's just some further integration from App Insights. Cool to see. Public preview, stateful and 1-minute frequency log alerts in Azure Monitor. Cool. And another public preview is Azure SQL public preview updates. So that's a general. What they've done is enable cross-region business continuity and disaster recovery with active geo-replication on Azure SQL Database Hyperscale. Okie doke. Another refresh my page. There we go. So now available Azure Database for MySQL Flexible Server, Zone Redundant High Availability, now generally available in new regions. Okay, we've got a few more to go, but in preview, the public preview of Azure Database for MySQL Flexible Server is available in 2 new regions. A lot of work going into Azure SQL at the moment. And Flexible Server now supports 8.0.21. Okay. Public preview, Azure Database for PostgreSQL, Flexible Server Intelligent Performance. There seems to be a lot of this, sort of a movement in that area. Generally available, Azure Hybrid Benefit for Linux with RI and VMSS support. Okay, that's interesting to see. So we can actually get that hybrid benefit in Azure for Linux now as well. Azure Event Grid for Azure Cache for Redis now in generally available. And in public preview is Azure Database for PostgreSQL Hyperscale Citus, is it? Is available in new regions. Cool. And finally, new Azure VMs for general purpose and memory intensive workflows have now gone into public preview. So there we go. That was a whistle-stop tour of the updates that we've had across Azure this week. So what I'm going to do now is quickly, what should we look at? We'll quickly just give a shout out to the Welsh Azure user group. So, and I've got 2 things flying across my screen there. There we go. Welsh Azure user group, next event, 20th of May at 6:30. As I said before, we've got 2 fantastic speakers giving us some lightning talks from Peter DeTender and Wim Matheson. And we've got the virtual Azure Data Center tour. So if you're interested, head on over, find us on Twitter, Welsh Azure. If you look at the pinned tweet, I'm pretty sure that is the sign up, the RSVP to that event. So if you can make it, please, stick it in your diaries, go on RSVP. We'd be thankful to have you there. So that's a quick short section on the Welsh Azure today. So finally, like I said, I'm trying to keep these videos as short as possible. They're always going to be around about the 25 minutes, half an hour mark. But finally, to wrap up today's show, we'll take a look at Jonnychipz on the side. So let's head back on over to my desktop. So title of this video is Networking Extravaganza this week, and that's purely based on the fact that this week I attended another hack. It was a Microhack arranged by the Microsoft One OCP area, which is the partner area, one commercial partner area. It was fantastic to see, and I just wanted to call this out. I've already created a blog post, so if you head over to jonnychipz.com and see the last few blog posts, you'll see that this is in there. So it's really around Azure Virtual WAN and really giving you an idea of how you can configure it. So I've I've configured and deployed vWAN with a few customers to date. In more of a hub and spoke kind of topology in terms of having a virtual WAN with a hub. And a few VNets around the sides, and maybe an express route or a site-to-site VPN connection. I've done both over the last sort of year or so with vWAN. But it's always nice to jump on these hacks because you will always learn something that you didn't realize or you didn't know or thought that you were doing, and you find a better way of doing these things. So the long and short of this Microhack, it covered around about a 3.5 hour time scale, but it was really looking at this kind of topology that was deployed via Terraform, just a simple topology. So everything in green here was deployed, which was fundamentally a virtual WAN and a hub with a few VNets in this kind of hub and spoke methodology, and this represents an on-prem site-to-site VPN IPsec tunnel using BGP for route propagation. So it was really interesting. That was all deployed, and then part of the hack we had to create these effectively their peerings into the vWAN hub, and of course create a new vWAN hub and give some network segregation, and it comprises a bunch of scenarios. So if you head on over to my blog, I've got links there to all the scenarios that are available to yourselves, and it takes you to this GitHub repo where you can kind of work through each of the scenarios yourself. And really, it's more about the actual doing of the work as anything in Azure. If you want to use the GUI to point and click and add components, it's really straightforward and simple in that term, but it's more about the observation of what's going on when you make that change, and especially around networking when you're kind of propagating routes or creating new route tables and assigning them to certain VNets. You can get that network isolation, and that it's just understanding when you do a change, you can observe how you can spot that change within your virtual WAN using Azure CLI. And of course, if you want to automate all of this, you absolutely can. And part of this GitHub repo you'll see is a whole bunch of shell scripts and, of course, some Terraform files in there. So you can deploy this Terraform sort of infrastructure into your environment, your Azure subscription, simply just by following this course. So wanted to call that out. It was a fantastic few hours well spent. Like I say, I never profess to know everything about a particular technology because you never do. But, sometimes you get into projects where you are deploying things that maybe you deploy them for the first time, or you've done it a few times, but you've done it at a very high level and not really delved into it. I've done a few relatively complex deployments of vWAN over the last year, but I definitely got something out of this, how to use certain Azure CLI commands to basically look at effective routing tables and things like that, and where they are in the portal. There's lots of good hints and tips in there. So if you are interested in vWAN, this is really the headline of this week's weekly video, effectively just to kind of call out from a technical perspective. Head on over, take a look at that GitHub repo, and set yourself sort of 3 or 4 hours to work through that content, and you won't regret it. So, other things this week. I called out the Cloud Lunch and Learn Marathon, which happened on the 13th and 14th. Pleased to say that I have submitted my talk. So I'll be talking about adopting the cloud with the Cloud Adoption Framework for Azure. So if you are around, go and have a watch of that. I'm really grateful. Give us, just let me know if you've watched it or not. And let me know what you think, because I don't tend to do too many talks. I want to change that, and I will change that over the next few months. But I think I've probably only done about half a dozen over the last year, which is reasonable, I guess, in some ways. But I definitely want to be doing more. So this is the first time I've submitted content to Cloud Lunch and Learn. So really pleased they accepted it. So yeah, if you are available, go and say hello to me in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, Jonnychipz in conversation with. Just wanted to give another shout out to Thomas and Carl. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me on last week's show. It's had some great feedback, and it's been shared around a bit. And especially Carl's green nose from OBS Ninja, which was a comical part of that video. But no, I mean, honestly, such great people in the community, more first and foremost, but both Thomas and Carl have got so much to offer, and they are offering the community at the moment. If you didn't watch that, it's there, it's on YouTube. Go and give it a watch. Reach out to the guys, let them know that you've watched it and what you thought. Some great insights, hints, tips from both Thomas and Carl in that video. So thank you, guys. Thank you for a great conversation. And with it being Friday, it is time for another episode tonight. So if you are around tonight, 6:30 p.m. BST over on the Azure Live, twitch.tv/Azure Live channel. Excuse me again for coughing. I'm poorly bad. Yeah, if you're around, head on over. I'll be there from 6:30 p.m. in the chat. Really looking forward to this one going out. It's a little bit of a bumper episode tonight. I think we hit the 1.5 hour mark, so apologies. I appreciate that it's a long time, but I mean, I think me and Jared had such good fun showing off all the behind the scenes of all the video recording and live streaming and things like that. So Jared Shockley, if you don't know Jared, he's Steve the audio guy, so he produces a few of the Microsoft shows with Pierre. He does the patch and switch show with Joey Snow and Rick Claus. So he's a great guy. Fundamentally, again, it was great to have a chat with Jared. Really, I think the phrase he used was "open the kimono," and that's what we did. So we had a few cameras on the go. Watch that tonight if you can. I won't give too much away, but I found it a really fun conversation. So I'm going to be watching this back, just like an excitable child, no doubt. But yeah, please do, let us know. I mean, there's plenty more content that we could get into. We didn't do a lot of the areas of live streaming justice. We just, like I say, we hit the 1.5 hour mark, and that's more than enough time to talk about things like that, I think, for anyone sitting. So let us know if you do watch that. Let us know if there are areas you'd like me to dip into more. I'm happy to reach out to Jared again, and we'll record another session. But we found that really interesting. So any feedback is welcome if you do get to look at that. So and again, if you can't make it at 6:30, I think it premieres out on YouTube at 7:30, and of course it'll be there then if you want to watch that back and at a later date. And to wrap up today's show, I think I said last week, are we getting back to a bit of normality? Certainly from my kids' point of view, they're all back to doing their sports now. So we had glorious sunshine out on the last weekend. Just thought I'd take this, show this picture, because that's fundamentally where we're heading back to now. Is summer's come in. We're all going to be allowed out a bit more. Doing these kind of videos, inevitably are going to become more pressured in terms of time, family first, doing things with the kids and the family and enjoying all the activities that they're getting back to. So just intrigued to know everybody's views on that. Things seem to be, it's strange. It's a strange old time I'm finding at the moment, where there's ups and downs. You're getting, work is quite busy at the moment. I love doing the community content and doing these videos and the weekly in conversation with. But now, of course, with these things starting back, I've got the added pressures of the time, and so it's that balance. And so there's a little bit of a bittersweet. Really happy that my kids are getting back to doing their sports, but then realizing I don't have that time. And I knew this was going to come. I think we all knew this was going to come, and there's no problem with it. But I think it's sometimes when you enjoy doing something and you know that it's got to kind of tone down a bit. There's no shame in that. There's no harm in that. But it's one of those moments where I'm really excited to be back playing dad's taxi, watching my kids enjoy the sports that they love, and traveling the country. That's what I do with the kids. But on the other hand, like I say, it's bittersweet that I know that some of this content I'm going to have to tone down on at some point soon. But let me know what you think. I know I don't get a huge amount of views on these videos. I think I just air my thoughts and feelings, and I'm sensing a lot of people are feeling in a similar kind of I don't know what the word is, probably fair to middling ground, I suppose. But anyway, that's it for now for this episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. Like I say, thanks so much for tuning in and listening to my ramblings. I've gone over the 30-minute mark again. Apologies, guys. But no, honestly, thanks so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please do give me some feedback, like, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to look at or add into the show. I'd be really grateful for any feedback like that. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next week.